Good morning, Nickel City Mafia. I'm Mike Thornton, and welcome to the Bills Packers pregame show. So here we are. We're finally at the final preseason game of the year, where we're going to be fine-tuning these players, getting them game ready, and then evaluating. Again, this is our last chance to evaluate some of those youngsters we're hoping that are going to help us get over the hurdle and beat some of these teams like Kansas City, Ravens. They've all improved their team greatly, and we need to do the same and then some to kind of get past them. So, welcome to the show. Before we get into it, I just want to say, please hit the subscribe button and give us a like. And throughout the show, I'd love to see some comments from you. I'd love to see some interaction. Just kind of let me know your thoughts on some of the things that I'm going to be presenting today. I mean, there's a lot to go through, so let's get into it. Oh, by the way, I do want to let you know that we have a huge giveaway that we're planning. The show is planning to start in about a week. You're going to hear more details. You do not want to miss out on this giveaway. I promise you that much. So stay tuned. You'll be hearing more within the upcoming week. So let's get into the show this week. So who's in, who's out? I mean, this is I'm kind of excited about this, but I'm also scared, right? This is the first time Josh Allen's going to see action. Stefon Diggs is supposed to get in there as well. I'm actually surprised because Stefon's really just coming up to speed this past week. But most starters are supposed to be in if they're healthy, and they're supposed to play a good amount of time. So what does that mean? For Josh, for me, I want to see no more than one quarter. If he comes in there and lights it up on 2 drives, get him out of there. He's already clicking on all cylinders, and let's just play it safe. I mean, Aaron Rodgers isn't playing, so maybe we should take a note from the Packers. But no, Josh hasn't seen any action this year. It's in Buffalo. So cool. It's the first game of the season that we have a game here in Buffalo. So that's awesome. Fans are going to love that. They're going to be juiced up. And so, again, give me your thoughts. How long you think Josh should be playing? I'm saying no more than a quarter, but I've heard some people say he might play through the half. There's no way he plays more than a half into the third quarter. So what do you think about that? And Stefon Diggs, if he's out there for 1 drive, 2 max, I'll be surprised. So I expect to see him very little today. But again, most starters are going to be in there, and it's going to be great to see them getting game ready and facing a pretty decent Packer defense. Who's out? Again, I don't have the final injury report. We're still a little early as far as who's in, who's out for the game. But I can say that I don't feel Isaiah McKenzie will be playing. If you heard any reports, he hurt his shoulder during the week. He's questionable, and I don't see him playing at all this week. Spencer Brown's unfortunate. Our young rookie swing tackle. It's been looking pretty good in the preseason. He's questionable. I'm hoping that he can get some more reps at game speed against first stringers, second stringers. So we'll see what happens there. Levi Wallace is questionable, and Daryl Johnson is questionable as well. So again, I can't give you definite outs. The only one I would say is guaranteed to be out is McKenzie, because I can't see him returning kicks or playing receiver if he's been in a sling all week for his shoulder. So we'll see. And but super excited to see these starters out there, especially Josh. So let's go. All right, here we go. So the hot topic of the week, right, is the NFL COVID policies, and this one has me worried. I mean, we had Isaiah McKenzie, who was fined. He's unvaccinated. We had Cole Beasley, who was fined. He's unvaccinated. And why were they fined? They were fined because they were not wearing their masks in designated areas that they need to be. Now, they all know the rules, so there's no excuse, in my opinion. I mean, I have rules at my work where we have to wear a mask, and you just follow those rules. How hard is it? We have Gabriel Davis, Star Latua Leia, Vernon Butler. They were all... It's funny because you kind of find out who's unvaccinated. They don't have a list. You're not supposed to divulge that information, but you find out this way. So they were all put on the 5-day quarantine because they were in what was considered close contact to a staff member who contracted COVID. So they all had to go on self-quarantine for 5 days. This could impact us big time, and it's going to impact us during the year. We're just getting started. I mean, the cold weather seasons, the cold season, now the COVID season, is going to be hitting us. And yeah, I totally agree. There's going to be a huge distraction during the year. So imagine 5 day self quarantine just by being close to someone who has COVID. If this thing was to happen on a Wednesday, Thursday, you're missing the game. And one game that we lose because of this could impact home field advantage, and could be the difference on whether or not we advance to the Super Bowl this year. The other thing is the NFL has made it clear. They obviously are trying to get everyone vaccinated. And if a breakout happens because of an unvaccinated player, they're not rescheduling games this year. They're going to make you forfeit if a breakout happens due to an unvaccinated player. If it happens with a vaccinated player, there's other options. But forfeit, I can't remember. I should have looked this up. I don't know if there ever was a forfeit in the NFL. You have to think maybe there was, but this is real. And this is going to be huge. So I don't know. I mean, tell me what you guys think about this, what your thoughts are. I don't want to get in a heated debate whether, I said earlier in one of my shows that this is really the teams. The team needs to deal with this. And I know Sean McDermott is not happy. He makes that abundantly clear. He wants these people vaccinated for many reasons. One, we know how dangerous this virus is. Personally, I had it. I've had a lot of friends who got hit with it. It's no joke. And I've been vaccinated. Proud to say I am vaccinated. And all my family's been vaccinated. And huge difference when you're vaccinated. And so, first of all, it's a safety thing, right? We want you to be safe. Talk to your teammates. Talk to Deion Dawkins, who was scared for his life just recently when he got hit with COVID. Talk to Tommy Sweeney, who had to miss pretty much all of last year due to a side effect of the virus, inflammation of a heart muscle. I'm not going to say the technical term because I can never say it right. But talk to your teammates. You can see how devastating this is. So first and foremost, it's about safety. Making sure your teammates are safe, their families are safe, you're safe. We want the best for you. Heaven forbid you get hit with this. Trust me, if you're unvaccinated, it's going to hit you harder than if you were vaccinated. I had a family member visit from Arizona a couple weeks ago. She works in a hospital in Arizona. And she was telling me the COVID ward is packed. And it's packed with unvaccinated people. And they are struggling, getting put on ventilators. And when they come off, they're like, what was I thinking? Why did I not get vaccinated? Again, you don't hear a lot of this. I'm not sure why. But it's obviously clear that vaccination is better for you. I mean, there's data to support it. And again, you might say, well, the data, I don't trust the data. I'm an IT guy and I have to trust the data. So that's what I'm going off of. The other thing I wonder about is, so not only is it a safety thing, it's about your team. A lot of people, mostly, I hope everyone playing in the NFL wants to win. They want to win championships, right? And if you're costing them the opportunity to win a championship because we had to forfeit, or because you're not able to play because you were in close contact, that's got to be, I'd love to be a fly on the wall in the locker room. So what do you guys think's happening, in those locker room conversations between the vaccinated folks and the unvaccinated folks? And here we are. We haven't even started the actual season, and this has already hit us. And of course, we're one of the most outspoken teams, with Cole Beasley being the poster child for not getting vaccinated. And the spotlight's on us. And I think this is going to hit us again, unfortunately. So we'll see. I mean, I can only hope that it doesn't. But if things don't change and it doesn't look like the folks that are unvaccinated right now, I don't think that's going to change. Their minds aren't going to be changed anytime soon. So this is a real issue for us that we're going to have to deal with. So again, in the channel, let me know your thoughts. Let's see. Yeah, Bill, I totally agree with you. Total distraction. You do not need a distraction like this when you're trying to win a Super Bowl, right? You know, teams typically have a window. They have I'll say, if they're lucky, a 5-year window to, when the team hits a certain plateau. They have about 5 years to win that Super Bowl. And unless you're the New England Patriots, and that window was doubled. So any opportunity you lose is one of those, it shrinks that window. So again, I totally agree with the comment out there, Bill, is that, big distraction and not something a team that's trying to win a Super Bowl needs. And let's see your other comment here. Just because of the forfeit issue, if I was the owner, they would be cut. Those are big words. Bill, I mean, I agree with you, and it's a tough one. I mean, from a fan's perspective, Cole Beasley is one of the best slot players in the game. And then Gabriel Davis, I mean, a rock star. He's a young kid and just up and coming. And look at these guys. These are starters. Isaiah McKenzie, these are starters. So right there, Bill, if you were to cut these guys, I don't believe we're making the Super Bowl. I mean, yes, we have a lot of depth at the wide receiver core. We actually have people still in the bubble trying to make the team at that position. So you could argue that maybe we have the depth to overcome this if we were to cut those guys. But we'll see. I mean, Isaiah McKenzie seemed to be a joking matter to him. Cole Beasley, it seems to be a joking matter to him. He has some good arguments like, look, I'm unvaccinated and I had to miss 5 games, self-quarantine, because a person who was vaccinated had COVID. So, I mean, he's got some arguments, so I can't argue against all his reasons. But again, huge distraction. It's going to hit us. It's going to happen. Let me know your thoughts on that one, guys. I appreciate the comments there, Bill. So things I want to see. This is something I've been saying for the past couple of weeks. These young guys, and I have been seeing it. And I'll walk through this list here in a little bit. So I happened to be at dinner with my wife last night, and of course, always around the TV. We have to sit, and there were some games on. There was a Kansas City game last night against Minnesota, and Mahomes was in there and doing his thing, threw for 2 touchdowns. Making some plays that only Mahomes can make. And I thought to myself, did we do enough to beat the likes of Kansas City? They've gotten better. They revamped their whole offensive line. I mean, after what happened to them in the Super Bowl, where they were destroyed at that offensive line position, they revamped. I think most, if not every one of those players have been replaced. Maybe not all of them, but many of them. They picked up Orlando Brown, which was a huge gain for them from the Ravens. So, again, big improvements on their team. Have we done enough? And I think to myself, what are the positions, the key positions that I think we were weak in? Tight end, running back, and sacks. Pressure on the quarterback. We had a decent amount of pressures, but they weren't converting into sacks last year. So what do? We spent a lot of draft picks on defensive rushers. And I think we got 3 stars in the making. A.J. Epinesa, Gregory Rousseau, Boogie Basham. I've seen nothing but good things so far on the first 2 preseason games. And with Rousseau getting a sack in each of his first 2, Boogie just got one. Epinesa did not get a sack, but oh my God, if you watch the last game against the Bears, he destroyed the tackle on one of the plays where it looked like he had a sack for a fumble, but they overturned it and it turned to be an incomplete pass. So all 3 of these guys, to me, one of the big areas that we needed to improve upon, and I think we have. I'm also, so I already mentioned Daryl Johnson, another defensive end who's when he's been in, I mean, I think this is his third season with the Bills. He's making plays. So he's also one of my bubble guys because there's a lot of depth on this defensive line. And Daryl Johnson's been impressing me. So keep your eye on him today. I'm hoping he gets some early reps against those first and second stringers against Green Bay. Again, we're not going to be getting Aaron Rodgers. I think we got Jordan Love who's going to be starting over there. But keep your eye on him. He's been very impressive. Tremaine Edmonds. Okay, I forgot to mention. I said, what did I say? Tight ends, running backs, and defensive line. The linebacker should have also been in there. Tremaine Edmonds is one of the most athletic guys. When you look on paper, 6'5", 6'4", huge wingspan, super fast. This guy should be making more plays than he has, in my opinion, and this is where we need him to elevate this year. So this is another area. I mean, I love the guy, and I think he could be a superstar. I mean, some of you might say he is already a superstar, but I don't know. When I watch a lot of the games, and I rewatch games as well last year, he's just always taking the wrong gap. I mean, he just seems to be running right as the guy is running past him. He's just taking the wrong line. And I know they had Luke Kuechly come in, and I'm hoping that could help him out, help this youngster out. I'm sure it would. And let's see what happens this year with Tremaine, because I think if he elevates, and along with these other young pass rushers that we've added to the team, I think we can do some special things this year. There's Levi Wallace versus Dane Jackson, that, the battle for starting cornerback on the opposite side of White. Levi Wallace keeps taking on these, every year it seems like he's challenged for that starting position, and he always is able to hold the position. But if you think about it, last year they rotate a lot at that particular corner. So Dane Jackson, who up and coming young kid, seems to have great instincts. I think whether he dethrones Wallace or not, we're going to see a lot of him this year. And then the tight end position, right? I mentioned that already. This is a spot that should be able to take advantage with our passing offense, with our skilled players around this tight end. This is somebody who should be putting up big numbers. Dawson Knox hasn't impressed. I mean, last week he was 1 for 2. He dropped the pass right in his hands, and that's been his MO. He just drops passes. Jacob Hollister stood out to me. Jacob Hollister, right now, in my opinion, is the lead guy for the tight end position. I know that's a big call. Knox is the most athletic of the three that we have. And I'm also pretty high on Sweeney. I'm hoping he gets to play. I know he was banged up after the first preseason game, and his story with what happened to him last year. So have a soft spot for him. But when he's in, guy makes plays. But Jacob Hollister, for me right now, has taken that slight lead. So let me know what you guys think about that, what I'm saying there. Again, man, I was watching Mahomes, and it just hit me. I'm like, did we do enough? They've done more. They've improved. And, when they played us, they've beaten us 3 times in the past 2 years. And each of those games, I thought they handled us pretty easily. And I think it was that defensive line just wasn't able to contain Mahomes or get to him. And I think we've improved that. I already talked about Edmonds. He needs to, Kelsey just kind of tore him up. But again, it's Kelsey, right? Kelsey's the best tight end in the game. So it's very difficult to watch a guy like that. But if anyone can, it's Edmonds. He's got the athleticism to do it. So I'm looking for big things from him. And again, that tight end. And I did mention running backs. I didn't mention like things I want to see the running back situation. I don't think we've improved the running back situation. I do think Singletary is looking back to his early day form. And I'm liking what I see out of Singletary. I've always been a Singletary fan. And I keep saying that when they went to the split with Zach Moss, the 50-50 split, or they try to do that, Moss can't stay healthy. But when they're splitting time, Singletary's not the Singletary that I'm used to seeing. If he gets more time and he gets into a rhythm of the game, Singletary can be a playmaker. And he's shown that. So I'm hoping, again, I keep saying this, if Moss is going to be in there, I would love to see more of a 60-40, 70-30 split. Matt Breida, we brought him in for his speed. Hasn't really done anything in the 2 preseason games. But when you consider the fact that Zach Moss's his injury history, he's probably going to make the team for just that reason. We're going to have a backup there. So I haven't seen much for Breida. I would like to see a little bit more. So again, give me your thoughts on what you guys want to see. I'm curious. Final game, final tune-up game. What are you hoping to see out of these players? Are there other players that you're hoping to step up? Let me know. And then my players on the bubble. So these are guys that I've been watching that I believe are on the bubble. Remember, we got to get down to a 53-man active roster a few days after this game. August 31st is that deadline. So Marquise Stevenson, from the day I did the draft review, I've been saying this guy could make the team for not only wide receiver, but mostly to replace Andre Roberts on the kicking team. Guy has a 79-yard punt return last week. He had the big catch in the first preseason game. Unfortunately, I guess on that punt return, something happened with his foot. Everything turned out negative as far as x-rays go. And I'm hoping that he can play again, because this is really his time to shine. With McKenzie probably out, Marquise Stevenson should get most of those opportunities at the kickoff returns and punt returns. So we'll see if that happens today. Again, he's questionable, but from everything I heard, he returned to practice on Thursday, and so I'm expecting to see him. Jake Fromm, Davis Webb, again, one of those guys are not going to make the team. We got Mitch, we got Josh. One of these guys are going to make it. In my opinion, Davis Webb has the slight edge. I like his history. I like his, what he did in college and what he showed me on the field in game 1. I didn't see so much of it in game 2 because, we saw Mitch play mostly that first half. Fromm, you can argue that he's always been the last guy coming in with the 4 stringers, and my God, they've been horrible. So let me know what your thoughts are. I'm thinking Davis Webb, in my opinion, only because I've mentioned this before, his size and speed, very similar to Josh Allen. Now, he doesn't have arm strength like Josh, who does, but there's a lot of similarities, and I was very impressed in the first preseason game. Damar Hamlin and Josh Thomas, they're both battling for that backup safety position. They both look good at times. I've seen Damar Hamlin. I've spoke about him many times in my last 2 post-game shows. And I see a lot of good things going on there. Josh Thomas as well. So you got a drafted rookie versus an undrafted rookie. And who makes the squad, we'll see. I think you're going to find we're going to have to wait and see until what happens today. And Daryl Johnson, I've already mentioned him. I think this guy's making great plays on defense. Every time he's in, he's putting pressure. He's been with us now for a few years. And I like what I'm seeing out of this guy. And another added depth at the defensive line. And he's putting pressure on quarterbacks. What do you guys think? Have you been seeing the same thing? And then Rashad Wildgoose and Nick McLeod. Again, looking for a backup on Trey White. For Trey White, they both have shined. So let's see what happens there. And then Elijah Griffin. I keep bringing up Elijah Griffin, and I'm always shocked. He continues to stay on the team. Does his journey end this week? Most likely. Elijah Griffin, for those that don't know, I met this gentleman out here in Southern California at one of my son's flag football games. Super nice kid. Walked up to him. I saw he was wearing Bills gear. I'm like, hey, I see you wearing the Bills gear. I'm a huge fan. How are you connected to Buffalo? And he's like, I was just drafted, or not drafted, but I was signed by Buffalo as an undrafted free agent out of USC. And I've mentioned this. He was a 5-star recruit in USC. So he's got some skills. He has good size, decent speed. And we've been pulling for him. My son and I, he was super nice, took some pictures with us, talked to us for a little bit. He is the son of famous rapper Warren G and the nephew of Dr. Dre. So how cool is that? Anyhow, that's why he keeps making my list. And maybe this is going to end his journey, but I appreciate the fact that he's been able to stay throughout the whole preseason, and I wish him nothing but the best. And if he does make the team, my son and I are going to go party. We're going to have a good time because my son just really appreciated him taking the time. And for my son, who's very much, he's 8 years old, going to be 9 in a couple of days. He's so into sports. And when he met Elijah Griffin, an actual Bills player, it just made his day. And it was super cool to see that. Anyhow, so lots of talk, guys, lots of things going on. I touched on many different topics. And again, it's the final preseason game. What I do like about the way they've got it structured, we got 2 weeks, right? It's a little bit over 2 weeks before we have that first opening game against Pittsburgh. So we got time to heal. It was crazy to me to see like all the players that were getting injured. That injury list was short, and then all of a sudden a bunch of players started showing up on that injury list. And again, so there's plenty of time to heal, which I appreciate, and then fine tune and get ready for the Steelers, which is, oh man, what an opening day in Buffalo. Wish I could be there. Let me know if you're going to be there. And again, I'm predicting big things from the Bills this year. I already showed in one of my previous episodes where I went through and predicted the Bills season. I came away with a 13-4 record. Now, that could be impacted by that COVID discussion that I had a little earlier. So again, please let me know your thoughts. So that's kind of it for today. I mean, I'm getting ready. We've got the Bills gear on. My son's ready to watch this game. We're going to, again, preseason excites me. I know it doesn't. I talk to a lot of guys like, have you been watching your team in preseason? Nah, I don't care about preseason. I just don't. But it is super important. And I don't know why you wouldn't care about preseason, because if your team's in contention, this is where they're getting, game ready. They're getting in sync, and you're looking for that new talent that's going to take you over the edge. And there's a lot of teams I think we're going to have to, obviously KC, obviously the Ravens, Cleveland. If you watch for my 7 contenders, AFC contenders, if you watch that show, there's a lot of good competition in the AFC. So, of course, I think Buffalo is the 2nd seed right now. Some experts are saying, no, it's Cleveland. Some are saying it's Ravens. And I got to tell you, I'm scared of the Ravens. That game was super close. They're going to be good as well. So these COVID things that could happen during the season where you might lose a game because you didn't have some key players in your lineup, it's going to be huge. It's going to be huge. So anyhow, that's it for me this week. I appreciate anyone who's watching the show right now. Bill Thornton, thank you. Big shout out to you. And anyone who's going to watch it before the game, before the kickoff, appreciate your time. And again, remember to drop a nickel on that subscribe button for us. Comment. Let me know your thoughts on what we talked about today. Give us a like. And remember, please, check out some of our shows during the week. We're going to be talking about a huge giveaway that you do not want to miss out on. I promise you that much. So anyhow, everyone enjoy the game. I'll actually have a post game. I'm hoping this afternoon. What I'd like to do is watch the game and then rewatch it. I use NFL Game Pass to be able to rewatch those games, but it takes a few hours for them to make that available. But I'd like to watch it and then come back to you with my thoughts. So you will be seeing me sometime later this afternoon, and we'll talk about the post game and hopefully be celebrating a good showing by the Bills. Enjoy your Sunday. Enjoy the game. Let's go Buffalo. Come on. Let's do this now. Bye now.